Alright guys, so the white band trailer for Jeremiah is here. I'm still waking up, to be honest. It's like, oh my god, I was going to do the review today, or I was going to do the review. There's at least one speech screw up at the beginning of my videos. I was going to do the review, but then everyone's screaming at me, white band trailer, and I'm just like, I can't resist. So I'm sorry if the review isn't up by the time you want it to be up, but you know, god, I need to watch this to see what is to come with Jeremiah's, aka the Gotham's Joker's storyline. But yes, I may seem groggy, but I've got my Boba fuel here to keep me kind of alive, and hopefully this trailer will put some life into me, just because I need it. I need it right now. So I guess, honestly, guys, without further ado, let's go.
You are about to have a very transformative experience.
Oh. They're gonna do the typical Jerome stuff at the beginning. Yep. I knew that was coming. You've met Jerome.
Could go insane with just one bad day. I just want to paint the town crazy. My God, there's two of them.
We were always different, Jerome and I. I showed proficiency for maths and design, and Jerome mainly the mutilation of alley cats. They hid me away to protect me from him, but I knew one day Jerome would come for me.
Well,
you couldn't hold him. Arkham couldn't, I can.
This is not good.
Hello, brother.
What are you gonna do to me? I'm gonna drive you mad.
Don't fight it. Breathe it in. I had this gas made just for you. It's time to have some fun.
There's some debate about the gas at the minute.
After Jerome died, he left one last trap for me. He sprayed me with his insanity gas. I can't stop seeing you.
Your brother's dead, Jeremiah.
Hiya, Jimbo. I wanted to bring you here.
His followers must have dug
This
him
is
out.
what I mean. I swear the gas did something. I don't know though.
Jerome's insanity gas failed.
Other than mild cosmetic effects.
Jerome is dead. Those generators, they work even better as bombs.
That sound you are hearing, that is a very bad sound.
Okay.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey there, Mr. Valeska. You alone, or you got Mr. Wayne with you?
No, Mr. Wayne, but I'm not alone.
What the hell?
It's time to give Gotham City its new face.
I need some explanation behind
And
Echo.
bombs planted around the city, just like the one that killed Jim Gordon.
You're more sick than your brother.
We just wanted to destroy things. I'm a builder, but every artist needs a blank canvas. I know seeing is believing, and I do want you to believe me, so...
Oh god.
Oh my God!
I detonate the explosives in 6 hours. I want the city empty when I do. The clock is ticking.
Not one step closer.
Just had my dear jongleur with my core relay in his hand and a grenade taped to his mouth.
Indeed it is.
It seems you have the upper hand. Well?
Oh, what?
Alfred, where have you been? No, not Alfred. 71 Welling Avenue. Be there in an hour. Tell the police and I'll know.
Killing Jokey.
I've seen something very special inside of you. But to free it, you'll have to lose everything and everyone you hold dear.
There's a darkness inside both of us. The difference is, I know how to control mine. You're the brother I never had. One Jerome never could be. We will create a legacy in this city. Kill the butler. He's no longer necessary. Today marks the dawning of a new city. One where we will all be free.
Oh, that is
My
dark.
eyes are open, as will yours be. It must be very disappointing for you, dying like this.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Now, as I just said, that was very interesting. And as I said in yesterday's video as well, with what we saw with next week's episode unfolding with One Bad Day, I think what Jeremiah is ultimately trying to do here with Bruce and then, you know, torturing Alfred at the same time, truly is, a twist on, the Killing Joke story. Now, I can imagine some people saying, but didn't they do Killing Joke last year with Jerome? Like, in a way, kind of, with that circus or that carnival, whatever you want to say. But in this one, it's more about, in terms of what the Joker did with Batgirl and the pictures with Jim Gordon in the comic book of the Killing Joke throughout, which, and completely just effing him up along the way. Here we have Bruce driven to the edge of his sanity because he's seeing Alfred everywhere getting absolutely effed over, to put it bluntly. Now, I do really like this. This definitely is like their own take on an original story in terms of what Cameron has said before and stuff like that. So maybe this is what they meant by that, which is pretty cool. I remember saying in yesterday's video, I love how, like, Bruce knows this guy Jeremiah, like, is the Joker and stuff like that. I would obviously prefer it and love it even more if the Joker was a complete mystery. But since Gotham are doing their own thing, and I've tried to kind of understand it and embrace it even more, and there is definitely a neatness in what they're doing with the Jeremiah name being revealed already as the Joker's name in Gotham beforehand, because it adds this kind of rivalry between Batman and the Joker, but also Bruce and Jeremiah, and it's definitely not such a thing to shy against anymore. For example, the Telltale series are doing it, John Doe, with Bruce Wayne and that, if you're familiar with that at all. It's definitely, people are shying away from the traditional origin story, and it still does make a kick-ass story. The beginning of the trailer was obviously a bit of hype, recapping other stuff, as they always do in the white band / red band trailers, whatever you want to call it. But then at the beginning of the actual white band new kind of footage, we kind of saw some footage that we saw in yesterday's trailer for next week's episode, which is Jeremiah blowing up the clock tower in Gotham. Now, the next scene we got teased from with the promo photos. With this promo photo, you can see Jeremiah, I believe, in the background, and then we see Penguin in the forefront. But in this scene, we actually get a clip of what is going on here, and it seems that the League of Ladies with Barbara, Tabitha, are meeting up with Penguin, but also Jeremiah. Now, you'd have to think this is just to kind of talk things out with what is going on in the city with all the powerful people at play. But also, what we do know is that Penguin has gone to Barbara to ask for help, or even to kind of be allies temporarily. So it's kind of Jeremiah meeting up with potentially Penguin and Barbara's side of things, the League of Ladies, Tabitha, and all that good stuff. I just love how he walks in and Oswald's just like, hell no, we know what you Valeska guys are like, so you stay well back, because we've got one of your favorite guys here with a grenade in his mouth and your like weapon or whatever in his hands, and Jeremiah's just like, oh you seem to have the upper hand. I pulls out a flipping RPG. Definitely a bit more of that Joker attitude there, and just how Jeremiah could probably doesn't give an F and about his core relay and just wants to blow everyone up if he can. So that's what he tries to do, and I love that. That's perfect. The next few clips in the trailers where things start to get extremely dark, to be honest, because Bruce gets rung by who he thinks is Alfred, but he's like, no, not Alfred, it's Jeremiah, and he's like, you need to meet me at this place in 1 hour. And this is where the Killing Jokey-esque elements come to play, because Bruce goes to this location and clips are playing, I'm guessing throughout this location or throughout wherever Bruce needs to walk through, of Alfred getting punched in the face. It seems like he's getting electrocuted, and that is just so dark. I mean, poor Alfred. We'll talk about him a little bit more in a minute, but just grasp this for a second. That is so dark, seeing like the person Bruce loves most in this world at the minute anyway, being tortured all around him, clips playing everywhere, very Joker as well, with projectors set up and riddled throughout the place. It's just like Batman walking through Arkham Asylum and the Arkham video games, or whether you're in the comics. He loves to be theatrical, and this is precisely what Jeremiah's doing, but in a very effed up way. As I said, it is pretty dark. Now, one of the reasons I really respect what Gotham are doing in their own original way, as much as it annoys some people in terms of how they're not keeping it original, or should I say traditional, it's just because they're keeping some elements, or the most important elements there, in a way, in terms of how Jeremiah says, I've seen something very special inside of you, but to free it, you're gonna have to lose everything, and I don't know, something along that lines. But it's just the Joker trying to break Batman. There's been so many remarks in the past where he thinks, Bruce is technically just as crazy as the Joker is, or should I say Batman, for, just going out there, but it's just they're the kind of polar opposites. The Joker is all about doing, tearing everything down, anarchy, chaos, depends what version of the Joker, but technically kind of one and the same. But and then Bruce is all about the opposite of that, but he could very nearly have been that person in a way. And I think Jeremiah is really trying to, pick away at Bruce, until he just absolutely explodes. And one of the cool ways of doing that is torturing Alfred. Now, one of the most interesting things here is it looks like Alfred is getting dosed with a lot of insanity gas. Now, why am I saying that? Is because you've got the gas color there. I believe you can see the edge of the jester box, or should I say the jester head or the clown head popping out of the box. But then in the next scene, just as we see Alfred is about to rugby tackle Bruce, and Bruce is really looking very, very frightened. I don't think he even wants to face, you know, his loved one, his father figure. I think he's just freaking out because this guy's running at him. I don't think Bruce is scared of him. He's just scared of what might happen to Alfred and what he's become through all this torture. Also, of course, just a side bonus of just how Bruce has probably been driven insane thus far up until this point in the episode. But anyway, you can see just as Alfred tackles Bruce, you can see the jester box on the table there. Could that be the very one that sprayed Jeremiah in episode 18, I believe it was? But either way, as I said, we just saw Alfred getting sprayed with something, or it could be an effect, but you would have to think, why wouldn't Jeremiah give that to Alfred? And there it is on the table, out already, as if it's already been sprayed. And perhaps that is because Alfred has already been dosed up with this insanity gas, and this is why Alfred has gone insane amongst all the torture, but now insanity gas potentially as well. Now, some of you may be asking, but wouldn't that make him a Joker? Not really. I guess everyone reacts differently. And then there's a whole debate of, did the gas actually do anything for Jeremiah? I'll talk about that more in my review, but I definitely think, yes, he was like pretty weird all along, definitely very dark to do what he did to Jerome when he was younger and stuff like that. But you would have to think the gas did something, otherwise the whole scene of Jeremiah kind of fumbling around, falling and knocking things off everywhere, slowly just going, crazy like that would be pointless if it didn't do anything to kind of, let me just put it this way, jump starting a car, that's what it did in Jeremiah's mind, I believe. But yes, he's definitely been messed up all this time, but we'll talk more about that in my review. But I'd love to know your thoughts in terms of the Jeremiah gas moment. As I said, I think it's really pointless them showing that whole Killing Joke madness clip if it didn't do anything to his brain. I mean, Jerome designed it to do something. I think it just unlocked the monster that is already in Jeremiah, that was partially showing sometimes, like when he was a kid, just like how Jeremiah is trying to unlock this darkness in Bruce that is already there, but it's just not gonna, he uses it for a good way like Batman, but Jeremiah's trying to bring it out in Bruce so he becomes a madman like himself. Now, amongst all of this, Jeremiah says, "Everyone you hold dear," and I believe we see a little hint of Scarecrow on the wall behind Bruce there, because as I said, video clips are playing everywhere, and Scarecrow is working with Jeremiah in this case. We saw in the trailer for next week's episode that Selena is fighting Scarecrow. And what do we see in the next clip? We see Selena, a little clip zoom in on Selena, and obviously Jeremiah has maybe captured her. I did say that she might just be with Bruce anyway, trying to help him out, and their stories often bleed over at the minute. However, if Alfred got caught by Jeremiah, maybe since Jeremiah knows Bruce fairly well, I'd say, he knows that he's somewhat close to Selena, and he would have captured Selena as well, and this is why Scarecrow is trying to dose up Selena as well, but we see Selena fighting back because she can take care of herself. Either way, this is just adding even more craziness to Bruce's brain, and can he handle it? We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, no spoiler alert, but he'll be okay in the end, but this will still be quite an ordeal that Jeremiah puts him through. And back to that Batman and Joker poetic kind of link where Bruce says, "There is a darkness inside both of us. The difference is I know how to control mine." And that is exactly what this is. And this is something the Joker will always try and do, try and prove Bruce wrong, and how he can just be like him kind of after just one bad day, or in this version maybe a little bit different. But hey, Gotham don't want to copy and paste, which is fair enough. I love some of the lines that we've been teased with already in terms of Jeremiah, and this is more Batman Joker-y stuff, and obviously this is what this all is. It's a brilliant homage to it all. You're the brother I never had, one that Jerome never could be. And then there's another line saying, and it kind of makes it seem like it links, but I don't think it will be. Two different scenes here. But he says, we're going to create a legacy in Gotham or something like that. And that's the legacy of Batman and a Joker going to and fro for years and years and years and years. And if there's any meaning by what the text says in this trailer as well, and a lot of people love to somehow use this text as completely definitive proof of stuff, it's pretty concrete that this is, Gotham's Joker, to anyone who's still a doubter. And as for the people behind in the background here, I believe that these could also be Barbara's. I mean, at the same time, she's got the League of Ladies, but at the same time as well, we know these look like League of Assassin members, and we see Penguin there, and we know Penguin is aligned with Barbara, so I have to assume that this is all all a part of their team up. We see another clip of Jeremiah and some of his cult members, and it looks like that cult member is carrying a camera, kind of like a really exaggerated version of like, you know, what they kind of use for like the Killing Joke kind of camera. I think it'd be brilliant if we get a shot of Jeremiah with a camera filming Alfred, or just something like that that brings that link over to that comic book cover. I'd be so happy if they did anything like that. That'd be just perfect. But we also hear him say, anyway, kill the butler, he's no longer necessary, and we see Alfred absolutely KO'd on the floor. And I think this is that moment after he rugby tackles Bruce. Bruce kind of, you know, inadvertently like chucks him over, and he hits his head on the floor there. Now, I don't think they would spoil a massive death like this in the trailer. And also, it would be, I mean, Alfred isn't meant to die anyway, but Gotham can do their own thing. But this would be the biggest example of a massive change they could do. And I just don't think that would ever happen, them killing such an important character off who forms Bruce and looks after Bruce for many, many years from now, Alfred dying. The only thing I wish is that since he probably 99.98% won't die, and if they did, I'd be like completely... I would be annoyed if they did that change. That's some stuff you shouldn't change. But anyway, the reason why I'd be annoyed is like they like last year when Alfred got stabbed through the freaking heart basically, and now, you know, with his head cracked open, he's basically bleeding out there. For him to not die still, it's just like, you shouldn't have shown that. I get torturing Alfred and everything like that. That kind of makes sense. We know he's not going to die, but it's still very damaging to Bruce and his development and whatnot. But just teasing that he's going to die when he won't die, that's just a bit like, you did that last year, Gotham. Unless Gotham, you do kill him, which I would be gobsmacked about. But no, only joking. Alfred's going to be fine. Now we also see Jeremiah go down to a level of this building where the cult seem to be hanging out. And we get a good look of Jeremiah's suit. I haven't spoke about this until now, really. And all of it's not purple. And I don't mind this. It's very Two-Facey. And I wish the other half was the same color as the color we all love. And that is very Jokery. For now, like, I think it's great. I don't want to complain because we've got such... I really like this. It's just, I wish all of it was purple. And I want to kind of know the reason. Are they not allowed to go full purple suit? And now they're only allowed to do half of it to get away with this? So he's not a complete Joker representation, since they're not allowed to refer to him as the Joker, really. So I don't know. I'd love to know your thoughts to that. What do you think of Jeremiah's suit, you know, being black and purple, half of half? Now, there's lots of stuff you can sometimes miss with the really rushing of clips that happen in these white band trailers and stuff. And one of the very quick teasers we got is of Harvey here in between all of these two scenes happening, with one of Jeremiah's generators, you know, about to blow up. I think Harvey will be able to stop this one. Yes, I know Jim survived that one, but, you know, plot armor and all that. Harvey should have plot armor as well. So you'd have to think he would survive. But obviously he's going to be trying to stop this, to stop people from dying in this building unless it's already been evacuated. I have to admit as well, I don't think I've ever seen Donald Logue's Harvey ever so out of his depth and so afraid before. And I think this shot of Jeremiah, or Gotham's Joker essentially, is absolutely incredible. It's the smile I think we've been waiting for. I've always preferred Cameron Monaghan's Jerome/Joker or Jeremiah, whatever way you look at it, to have no scars, just because he's got the natural ability for an amazing smile. And since we've got the bleached white skin now and the red lips, and even though he's a bit beaten up here, but we spoke about that in yesterday's trailer breakdown, basically I think Bruce is going to give him a beatdown. Yeah, I think that this is a perfect smile, a perfect Joker face. I mean, what more can we say? He's essentially everything Joker in here. And I'm wondering why he's holding his shoulder. Maybe he got shot, maybe he's got a bullet shot, nothing lethal obviously, but something that he might have clipped him or anything like that. Now a quick flashback to earlier clips is where we saw Jeremiah walking down steps saying, kill the butler, he's no longer necessary. And this is where I think maybe he walks in on Penguin and Barbara's little meet up there just waiting for him. And this is where maybe the RPG comes out, but obviously once that's fired, is Jeremiah Colt is going to try and take over whilst he can run back up the stairs. This is just a prediction, but I think this is going to be the way it goes. Now, this next bit is very interesting. It's that same part as where Jeremiah had Bruce with his hands like this, and then the people in the background. And then I was talking about Oswald's men, or like technically Barbara's League members in the background. But here we see another angle with Oswald firing. And I'm thinking, obviously, this is against Jeremiah, but who else is there? I think that's Tabitha in the background, not Selena. I could be wrong, but we do see the whip there. But I don't know. Surely that should be Selena, but at the same time, I think that might be Tabby. But who else is there, people? I think that is Alfred. Now, you have to wonder what point in the episode timeline this is. You know, is it episode 22? Is it actually next week's episode? I believe the White Band trailer is more than just obviously next week's episode. So maybe this is after Alfred is, you know, had his head splattered on the floor after Bruce threw him off inadvertently, and he's okay by now. God knows how he's okay. This could all be before that moment, or before he gets captured. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below as to what the heck is going on here and why Alfred is just so perky with his gun, just ready to fire at Jeremiah. Now in the next clip, where we see a very unhinged Jeremiah with the brilliant smile that starts to come on, and this is where I'm looking forward to seeing the little bit more unstable side, but I'm waiting to see the screws, you know, start to fall out, and we see that here when he's just like, you know, smiling like that, and it's perfect. But I think he's saying stop as well, because I think that Jeremiah from the Jeremiah cult is driving him mad, and I think he might be burning them all at the end of this trailer, but I'll get to that in a minute. Now the final few seconds of this trailer crams in quite a bit. We see Jeremiah talking to his cult, saying today marks, you know, a new city. We see various members of the Legion of Horribles come back, which is Mr. Freeze, Firefly, Scarecrow, which we've already talked about. Looks like Firefly's taking over some kind of factory. Good to see Mr. Freeze back as well. I'm hoping that these characters kind of go their own ways a little bit with this new city that is being created with the cataclysmic event No Man's Land. I think that this shot with Jeremiah is absolutely golden. It is a very Heath Ledger-y shot from The Dark Knight, when obviously Heath Ledger is just in the jail cell, and we've got Jeremiah sitting in a very, very similar position. I mean, it's not the exact same, because I don't think that they wanted to be a complete rip-off. I think that would be both his hands on both of his knees, but here he just kind of has it on one. Either way, a complete brilliant tribute to that. We got another flashback shot to a continuation of that moment where the Jeremiah cult are shooting, I believe, at Barbara and Penguin. And you know, Jeremiah's already run upstairs by this point. We see Jeremiah in the same room as where the Jeremiah cult are kind of standing side by side, and he's walking in between them, saying, you know, today marks a new day. And here I believe he is about to detonate another building. That is the same detonator device, I believe. But also on the TV screen we see Gotham evacuates, mass panic. So obviously they've already got the evacuation undergoing now in Gotham City. And, you know, as I said, this is why we kind of need a season 5, because the place it's going to be is, oh man, the opportunity that this show has to do with things in season 5 is just, I can't even begin to say. And this is why it's going to be such a huge shame. And I'm not saying this just because, you know, obviously I love this show, but it would be such a huge shame if we never find out what it could have been. Here we see Jeremiah just firing a gun. I mean, I know there's not much more to say than that, but I think he just looks kick-ass, like in a Joker way, with just his waistcoat on, his gun inside. It kind of reminds me of just, I don't know, I love seeing the different Jokers that are shown throughout these characters, Jerome and Jeremiah. And this is the same room as where he, towards the beginning of this trailer, Jeremiah has the city of Gotham blueprints out. So he's kind of just, I believe, you know, formulating his plan even more and more. But I would love to know who he's shooting at here. Could it just be a Jeremiah cult member who's just giving him some bad news in a very jokery way? He's just dispensing of them. Or could it be somebody who's found his location when he's doing all this planning and he just has to make another escape? Either way, looking forward to seeing different kind of, I don't know, costumey, you know, Jeremiah, even though it's probably just what is underneath his suit. And is it just me in this clip here? Is that not his top hat? I swear, like the one we've seen him in a very Killing Jokey outfit is a bit longer, and in this one it looks more like the Riddler's hat, or I don't know, let me know. But anyway, I've wanted to talk about this bit for quite a while throughout the trailer, because we saw a little clips or moments leading up to it, and I think this is Jeremiah getting rid of, or should I say purging, the Jerome cult, even though it's the Jeremiah cult now. I think, you know, when he was just saying no or like stop, and they're all saying Jeremiah, Jeremiah, I think, yeah, he gave them a pep talk saying, you know, this is the dawn of night of a new city. But I think, you know, just judging by what they're wearing and everything like that, it could be the cult. And I wouldn't put it past Jeremiah doing this. Now, I could be wrong, but he might just be doing it because, you know, they've what his brother had, or even though they're his followers now, they still remind him of what Jerome had, or they've begun with Jerome. Or he might just be wanting to cleanse them because he wants to build a new city in his image, is what he said, and that includes like maybe a new following, or maybe he doesn't even want a following. Occasionally he might hire some people like the Joker does in the comics, but maybe he wants to start a scratch with no previous attachments, especially to Jerome with the Jeremiah cult. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who you think is burning? Where, you know, and in this very creepy shot of Jeremiah just watching them all burn. And as Jerome said, you know, burn it all down, brother. This is like obviously not the city, but people, which is also extremely creepy. But yeah, do you agree that is this the Jeremiah cult that we saw in that same room earlier, and now they're getting burned alive? I think it might be. I always love seeing the Joker with a knife, and who knows, it could be Tabitha who gives Jeremiah these bruises that we see throughout this trailer and in the promo photos for episode 22. But I have to admit, with him saying, oh, it must be, you know, whatever, you know, dying like this, you know, crap or whatever, dying like this, she wouldn't die with them showing that in the trailer. I don't know. Maybe it's like a double bluff and she does, but I don't think so. Do you really think that Tabitha will die this season with them showing it in the White Band trailer? I know they've shown a lot of spoilers in White Band trailers before, but I have to admit this one hasn't actually been so spoiler filled. It's been more heavily teasers, but we don't have all the answers. I think they've learned their lesson from season 3's Jerome White Band trailer, and now with season 4's Jeremiah White Band trailer. I feel like, yeah, just teasers. But yeah, let me know what you think of Tabitha here. However, saying what I just said, somebody you would have thought would have to die maybe at the end of the season for there to be like a huge impact. I know what Jeremiah's doing anyway is cool enough. But yeah, maybe a big character will die just because of, you know, that kind of happens towards the end of seasons like this. But knowing Gotham only to come back, but I don't know how I feel about that. But we'll have to wait and see. But yes, guys, I know this has been a flipping long video, but I don't really care if you don't like that. This is just kind of what I do. But yeah, obviously there was a lot to talk about. As I just said as well, loads of teasers and not many very answers, which is a good thing. From what I saw in this trailer, I'm really excited for what's to come. I think Jeremiah and his take on like this Joker is very, very cool. And honestly, I've said this 1,000 times, but he is 100% reminding me of the Dark Knight Returns Joker. He had a very hush kind of quiet tone, almost sadistic, and enjoying it with his soothingness within his voice at the same time whenever he spoke about stuff or said things. So I'm kind of getting that vibe from Jeremiah, but at the same time the core Joker is there as well, like just like as we saw him bleeding through with that smile and that laugh when he was talking to the Jeremiah cult just after, you know, shouting at them saying stop or something. Other than that, guys, that is everything I've got to say in this trailer. Let me know obviously all of your thoughts in the comments down below. There's a lot to talk about here. I will probably get the review up tomorrow. I just really wanted to get on top of this because, you know, it is a White Band trailer and how often do we get one of those, to be honest. But other than that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button. And also, if you got this far in the video, type in the comment section, burn it all down, because I think that's quite appropriate now. So burn it all down. Other than that, guys, you can subscribe if you're brand new to this channel for more videos just like this. I do have social media links popping up on the screen around here. Oh, and I want to say thank you to all my patrons before I forget. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting this channel. Link to my Patreon is at the top of my description, guys. Go ahead and check that out. I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, guys, I have a Discord server. Link to the server invite is in the description below as well. Other than that, everybody, I think that's everything. So I'm gonna say goodbye now. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.